It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Ohio State head volleyball coach, Jen Oldenburg. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you, Brandon?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you got started in college coaching?
Sure. I feel like that journey started even at my time here as a student athlete in the Scarlet Gray at Ohio State. I think it was my freshman year. I came in and just fell in love with college sports. I was fortunate enough to play, but I really liked what I saw in terms of what my staff was doing, and I figured, you know what, this is gonna be my path, at least for a little while. I'm gonna try it out. So I think as early as freshman year in college, I knew this is what I wanted to pursue.
Can you talk about your college career at Ohio State and, of course, coming now to become a head coach?
Sure, yeah. I was recruited to be an outside hitter at Ohio State, and I wanted that path. I wanted to hit, and I came in and had that opportunity as a freshman. And then some things had changed, and somebody had left the program to pursue her academic interest, and then I became a setter, which is not really the path I wanted to follow, but had the opportunity to switch positions for the benefit of the team, and it worked out pretty well. So I set for 2 years, my sophomore and junior year, and then my senior year, team needed me to hit again and pass, so I became an outside hitter again. And to be honest, it was probably the best thing for my whole experience, because it taught me so much about the game and the different positions, how to interact with each other, and turning into a setter gave me the opportunity to play at a different level. So I went on to play professionally for 2 seasons in the U.S. It was called the United States Professional Volleyball League, so USPV. And even in that time, I was setting. I played the libero position for a little bit, just because that was new and no one was quite the libero yet. That was so brand new that we were all learning. And because I was a good passer, I was able to do it. And then I set for a little bit. I hit in practice. It was just pretty versatile. So I feel like my background allowed me to take that next step. And then I was asked to join the national team for 2 summers and had the opportunity to play in the World Championships as a setter. We made a pretty nice run, came in second in 2002. Lost to Italy in 5. That's still a bitter taste in my mouth, but we had the opportunity to play at a pretty high level. So I felt pretty fortunate about that. And then, retired from the game but got back into it as a coach, which I knew I wanted to pursue. Was the assistant coach at the University of Illinois for 9 seasons. Helped build that program from bottom of the Big Ten to national contender. So we made it all the way to the finals in 2011. Stepped away from college coaching for a little while to be with my family. I have 2 kids, great husband. Didn't want him to be Mr. Mom for a while, so I stepped away for about 1.5 years, and then got into club coaching, which I feel like a lot of my history is like, I didn't think I was going to do that. And then, here I was coaching club and then directing a club for 5 years. And then I think that really set me up for this position. I'm a little bit out of the box hire, but I think my time at Pittsburgh Elite really allowed me the opportunity to gain the leadership and direction of how to run a program. And then when this opportunity came up, I went for it. And thankfully I was, persistent enough to be in Janine Oman's ear. And here I am sitting in the head coaching seat.
That's a wonderful career. Can you talk about your time at the Pittsburgh Elite?
Sure. Yeah. I'm from Pittsburgh originally. So when we were living in Illinois, we were looking for a little bit different change and getting back closer to family. And the opportunity at Pittsburgh Elite actually came about for my husband. He's a strength and conditioning coach. He was at Illinois with me he was there longer than I was. He was there 11 years. And the opportunity to work at Pittsburgh Elite came to him. They were looking for a strength and conditioning coach to help out as part of their practice plans. So he was hired. I was going to go in and help out with an 18s team, do some lessons, just kind of be involved, still be a mom. And within a year, I was running the volleyball side of things, training and coaching and all that kind of stuff. And then within the second year, I was one of the co-directors. So, my time there was very much about expectations and management and, building a culture at the club level in order to make our entire program back on the national, take them back into the national spotlight. I think when I played, it was again, I feel like a lot of these same kind of themes keep popping up, but it was where I played. And so I went back and wanted to help build it again and get us back to getting kids recruited at a high level. I felt like we did that at my time, so that was pretty exciting. But yeah, it was a cool opportunity to give back to the younger generations in Pittsburgh, where I'm from.
Can you talk about your time at the University of Illinois and what you achieved there?
Sure. I was there for 9 seasons. To be honest, when I went in, it was I was a volunteer at Ohio State for 2 seasons, but that wasn't, when you're volunteer, at least my experience, I wasn't in the office every day. I didn't really know what I was doing. So Don Harden took a chance on me and Mary Coleman at the time. She's now Mary Hambley, and brought in 2 young females that were just passionate about the game and passionate about Big Ten volleyball and wanted to get Illinois going in a good direction. He'd also hired Kevin Hambley right on the national team. And our time there was just rebuilding a culture and getting them to be competitive. And I felt like we did that. I thought I'd be there 2 or 3 years, but I just really enjoyed our culture and what we were building and the people that were there and the recruits we were bringing in. And I was there 9 seasons. So, we went from not making the tournament to a couple Sweet 16s and then the Final Four and championship match in 2011. So it was just an incredible journey and something that obviously is just a place in my heart, and a lot of work that we put in there to build that program. It was awesome.
That's wonderful. Can you talk about your time at Ohio State as the head coach and what you accomplished?
Yeah, I like this question, Brandon, because in ways I feel like we haven't done much because we haven't had the opportunity to do anything. I was hired in January, and in March everything shut down. So in terms of what we're able to accomplish, I'm still undefeated. We're undefeated here as a new staff. But what we're accomplishing is starting to build the foundation of the new culture and bring a little bit of the old school mentality that my coach had here, Jim Stone, and mesh it with the new generation of volleyball players. So I think we spent a lot of the offseason building connections within our team and with our staff, and just building the foundation of toughness and grit and what it's going to take in order to take our program back to the top of the Big Ten and into the national spotlight.
Can you talk about, of course, what you've started to build the culture?
Yeah, I think it starts with the people. It starts with the trust that we have and the relationships we have. So, I think with any team, you're going to have little pockets of friends and people that, get along well with others and they're not as close as, other teammates, which is fine. I think that's totally normal. But in order to gel and have a complete unit on the court, we need to know each other. And, we need to know their strengths and their weaknesses. We need to know how to communicate back and forth. So I think that's the foundation that we're really building on, is just that trust and those relationships that are going to take us to the next level.
Can you talk about, of course, as a head coach, of course, during coronavirus, of course, what is the recruitment process like for you so far?
Yeah, it's been interesting. I feel like a lot of the rule changes helped us. I'm not going to lie, like coming in as a new staff, we weren't able to speak directly to sophomores until June 15th, right after their high schools had finished for the year. Then we were allowed to get on the phone with them and start that process. The classes prior had been signed and committed. So that was I fell into a really good spot in terms of those classes. But for the 2022 class, it was just us connecting with their club coaches, their high school coaches, and building those relationships, that are super important. And then when we got on the phone with them, it was just about finding the right people. And unfortunately, we weren't able to see them play as much as we wanted throughout the spring, and weren't able to have them on campus for camps and clinics, and no official visits this past fall. But it's about building relationships. We could recognize talent. I feel like a lot of people are pretty good at that, but it's about the personalities that you're bringing into our program. And as challenging as it was also really cool. It was fun to find different ways to connect with players virtually, and get to know their families, through FaceTime or Zooms, which is the new norm, Zoom. But it's been a challenge in ways, but also really good for us, and a really good learning experience.
Can you talk about what difficulties you've faced during, of course, the recruitment process, going from like not being able to recruit some of your class, and of course maybe having some of them maybe drop due to they were recruited by this coach? And
yeah, fortunately no one decided to decommit from us. I think that's a testament to what the previous staff did, and who they brought in, and how much they're excited to be Buckeyes. So I think we're pretty fortunate there. I think the biggest challenges come from not being able to showcase our campus, and have these recruits in person, seeing, interacting with us, and us being able to show them around. So I think the challenges more are for the younger players that can't come on campus with us. I feel for them and their process, because it's very different. It's a challenge for them, but I think we're doing a good job of managing it, and moving forward, and again, trying to find those right people and personalities that fit our program.
what is the official visit going to be like as the head coach for Ohio State?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a day to showcase everything, showcase our campus, talk about academics, showcase Cavelli Center, which I'm sitting in right now in my new fancy office. That's just over a year old, but the facility speaks for itself. So even virtually, I think we're able to show a lot of things that we have to offer. As we get to the point where we can actually have players and their families on campus, we're going to be excited for that opportunity, and to show them around, and have some good meals throughout the day, because food's important to stay fueled. But for us, it's about building those connections, whether it's virtually right now, or in person when we have the opportunity to do so.
Will they be able to try on their scarlet red jerseys from Ohio State?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I think we can make that happen. I know that's always a big kind of fun event. So that's usually on the schedule when they're allowed to be here in person. Yeah, sure.
Can you talk about, of course, now being in the Big Ten, what do you plan to accomplish as a coach in the Big Ten?
Well, I mean, I think the first thing is just stepping up that ladder. We've finished, 7, 8, 9 the last couple of years, some a little bit higher, some a little bit lower. So it's just, can we break into the top 6, the top 5, the top 4, and just start chipping away at some of those teams, which is that's not an easy thing to do. We have really good talent in the Big Ten, and great programs that are historic and have done good jobs. But, I think with the talent that's in our gym, and the recruits we have coming in, and, the resources we have here, I think we could start chipping away, and continue to build our IQ volleyball wise, but then, take that to the court and start getting into that top 5 mix.
What advice would you give upcoming future high school athletes that are looking to get into college volleyball?
Yeah, I think taking your time is important. And, we, as I said here in this, like, we spend a lot of time on relationships, and the people and the personnel. And the more you have time to talk to people and figure out what a program looks like, I think the better. And it's scary sometimes, because I think people like to, be done with the process, and jump on these offers, which, that works for a lot of people. But I just think that the more you know about a program, and the more you know the people and the team, and have those opportunities to have those interactions is important. So patience is a big thing for us, waiting to make sure it's a good fit, academically, athletically, all the major factors that you're looking for when you're looking for a program in university. But yeah, for us, it's about taking your time, and it's hard to do that sometimes. We like instant gratification, and for us, we want to be patient in the process. So that would be my biggest piece of advice.
What advice would you give upcoming, of course, college coaches looking to get into volleyball?
ask a lot of questions. Like this seems like one of those professions that's like, wow, that's so awesome. But I think understanding the day-to-day duties and activities that you have, so they're not fun. Some of them are not fun, like the paperwork you have to do and, checking all the emails, like that's not always the most glamorous part of the job, but it's certainly a big part of it, and how much time and work that you have to put in to be good. And, depending on what level you want to be at, I think just asking as many questions as you can of people in the business and building those connections, networking. And, a lot of the times when we're looking to hire people, it's who you know and how hard you work. Those are going to be the two main things. So if you could get your name out there and get those questions answered and figure out what your day-to-day looks like, but also build those connections, it's a big deal.
That's wonderful advice. And where can my listeners find you at on social media along with Ohio State Volleyball at?
Ooh, social media, that's not my strength. But I'm on Twitter a little bit. I'm learning Instagram. I feel really old when I say that, like I look young, but I'm old. I'm not into the gramming, but I gotta get better at that. But yeah, I'm on Twitter a bit, like I don't even know, I can't even tell you my handle. But if you look at Ohio State Volleyball, I'm sure you can look that up. But our social media accounts, not run by me, but by a staff member, are pretty good. I think we're on TikTok. That's a popular one, right? Like everybody loves TikTok, but our recruits like that. But yeah, our main Ohio State Volleyball pages are really good. So I would follow those. Don't follow me. I'm not that active.
Thank you again, Coach Jen, for your interview, and best of luck in your first season as the volleyball coach at Ohio State.
Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate your time and having me on here.
You're welcome. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at @talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Jen, for your interview, and best of luck.
Thanks, you too.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.